Hello, Amir Khan here. Please subscribe to the Triple B and like his videos. Yeah, so, hello, Wagwan. Salam alaikum. And shalom, of course. Yeah, so, bit of a non-story this one, but, whatever. It's about Amir Khan. Yeah, and Amir Khan has been robbed, allegedly, of a watch worth 72 grand. On a night out with his she-male wife, the plastic surgery queen of Dubai, Farial. So, you know what? The thing is with Amir, so in social media and all around, he loves flashing his new watches up. He's always putting up, so, look, I bought this new watch. It's worth 30k, it's worth 72k. And, yeah, I treated myself. Now, you know what? These kind of displays of wealth I find it ugly. Like 72 grand this watch, yeah? Now, what does the watch do? It tells the time. Now, don't get me wrong. You want it to be reliable if you've got a watch. Although these days everyone looks at a, mobile phone anyway, because that is definitely a reliable time, yeah? An old-fashioned watch with the hands and stuff is just about jewelry, really. Showing off, conspicuous consumption, that's all it is. Like Amir Khan, he's a bit like Umar, IFL Umar. He loves to show off his watch, and now obviously, what's his face? Amir Khan's watch collection is way more impressive than Umar, IFL Umar. He's got Khan's got like Frank Muller, just expensive Rolex, all these other ones. I don't even know much about watches. Was Umar, and all of them, they were big watches on their little slim wrists, their girly wrists, so they love to flash the big watch. I actually remember when Umar had a girlfriend, and she was quite cute, and Laura sang, and but Umar, she bought Umar a watch, was like a Emporio Armani, which is a diffusion range, which is a whack watch, about 130 quid or something like that, 150, but she don't know. I mean, she's trying to be sweet, but mother, he weren't impressed by that, man. Yeah, he's got to start several grand if it's going to go on IFL Umar's hand anyway. Umar is like currently bricking it, man. He had an easy time after slagging off the Scousers and then getting sort of sacked and then reinstated and demoted. Yeah, so he's no longer dining out with Tyson Fury at Nando's and asking how people's Tuesdays are going. Yeah, but now he's got the old DH, the old MTK thing going on. He's polishing up his CV. Umar, he doesn't want to get involved with villains, and you don't want to get. He's too small to know enough of any interest, but he still might get questioned up. But he won't know anything to get that £5 million bag, reward money. So, he's writing to Seconds Out and other channels. Yeah, this is my CV. I'm known as Umar, IFL Umar, but maybe you couldn't soon be known as Umar Seconds Out Umar. I'm very experienced. I know a lot of got a lot of numbers of these guys, famous boxers. I get on with them. I'm tall as well. Anyway, back to Amir. So Amir, so he's been bragging on all his watches on social media, and I mean, I don't wish no harm. I mean, or definitely no harm on the man, but it's kind of you're tempting fate a little bit. There's a lot of this snatch and grab thing going on. They go for watches now because they're easy to take off. Yeah, there's a lot of cash in them. And they'll focus it. If you're a hood rat and you've got Amir Khan and he's been bragging on his 72 grand watches and he's in the street. And that from social media because they put everything up now. Oh, he's in East London, right? Let's go have a look around. Oh, one of my boys just rung me, text me, going, I've seen that Khan. Yeah, he probably got like set up in a way, but he asked for it, man. And I find those grotesque displays of conspicuous consumption to be ugly. You know what conspicuous consumption is? It's an anthropological phrase, right? And what it means is in primitive tribes, what they used to do, right? Yeah, to show off, to brag against the other tribes that weren't doing so well. They'd get, all stuff like loads of animal skins, loads of food, other kind of things, implements, these kind of things, and then just pile it all up and set fire to it. Imagine that, man. You got all this stuff that's really useful, you set fire to it. Why? Just to brag on your wealth. You're just showing the other tribes, look what we got. We got so much. We can burn it. I'm not even going to give it to you. We're just going to burn it. Yeah, and that's what conspicuous consumption in modern culture is more like. Yeah, I'm going to waste loads of money. I'm going to piss 72 large on a watch that I don't need. Yeah, because I got my phone anyway to tell the time. You know, I don't need like 720 diamonds encrusted in my Frank Muller watch. But I'm doing it anyway, so people can see how wealthy I am and how much better I am than you. You know, it's like a top level. How's your Tuesday going? Look at my watch ting. Yeah. And, burning animal skins and money because you don't need it. You're burning the cash. That's what Khan's doing. I don't need this money. I spend 72 grand on a dumbass watch that does not improve my life one bit. I know. I get my iPhone to tell the time. Yeah, or I get a watch. I spend £150 on a watch to tell the time just as well. I don't need no 72 grand watch. It doesn't improve my life one bit. It's just about showing off. Yeah. So, you know what, I don't feel that sorry for Khan, obviously. You know, he's dumb as a box of rocks, but still, man. I mean, I don't think, he claims to be a religious man, yet he, he cheats on his wife. He says he'll leave his wife for a tranny, which is sick stuff. And, he wears all these, he spends all his money on designer clothes and brags on them. I mean, these guys are just hypocrites, man. And like I said, his stick is a big bag of rocks, but still. And what happened is here, so let's have a look at this dumbass article. Yeah, so this is from the Scum, one of the worst papers in the world, but the most read in the UK. Yeah, all mainstream media is scum and lies, and it's all repackaged the same news anyway. By the way, yeah, all news, actual news, comes from two agencies, Reuters and Associated Press. Guess what? They're owned by the same people, who control the banks. So what do you know about that? You're going to trust these things? Well, most people do because they're aegis. Anyway, let's read a bit of Scum. So apparently Amir Khan was left, in quotes, absolutely terrified after being robbed at gunpoint by two thugs on a night out with Faryal. It's absolutely terrifying. I mean, okay, well, we know he's a pussy-o, but I mean, what the heck? He held his gun to his head and made him hand over his watch during a scary ordeal. Yeah, that's not great. It's not great. But if you basically hand over the watch, everything's going to be fine. No one's looking to put a hole in your head. Yeah? And, with Amir Khan's wealth, he can afford to give out his 72k Frank Muller watch, which will be insured anyway if he has any brain, which obviously he doesn't. But, and this happened like in Leighton. This is somewhere in East London. I don't know how rough it is. Look, everywhere in London there are rough areas. Leighton, I don't know. I think it's fairly rough. I've never been there, man. I think it's an Asian area. I don't know, again. So they put a gun on his face. Faryal stood back, obviously. No, please don't ruin my face. It's got all this plastic surgery on it, innit? And they get the watch and boom, they go off in a car. So, it says here in the Scum, hours earlier, Khan had been pictured with a fan while shopping in Oxford Street wearing his flashy timepiece, which is studded with 719 diamonds. Wow. Imagine that. I mean, that's really going to bring something to life. 719 diamonds in a watch. Yeah? Wow, that's going to change your quality of life, innit? What a fool, man. I hate these fools showing off their wealth and things. Just do something useful for it. I mean, yeah, okay, maybe you've got too much money, but there's always ways to use your money properly, however much money you've got. You don't have to be stupid. At least them oligarchs and stuff like with their huge boats, they get something out of that, man. They get a beautiful boat. They get to sail the seas, man. They got all this stuff, beautiful food. That's some quality of life. A dumbass watch on your wrist don't do anything for you, you blood clot. Anyway, and he was also wearing it in an Instagram post from a charity bash at the Grosvenor House Hotel the night before. It raised fears the crooks may have targeted Khan specifically, says the Scum. Oh, really? I mean, what fears, man? Who's raising these fears? I mean, yeah, it's likely, but anyone, it's his fault for being flashy, indulging his conspicuous consumption, fool. An eyewitness told The Sun the Olympic medalist boxer was shaken up by the ordeal. It's funny they didn't mention he's a world champion. They say Olympic medalist boxer. And he got silver. They can't put gold. But the papers always make up these eyewitness. An eyewitness said. It's always made up. Or when it's a friend revealed. That's always made up. It's like a euphemism for just saying, we're going to make this up because we can. Yeah? And it adds some colour to the story. This alleged witness said they were not hanging around. They got straight in the car and fled. Of course they did. They just robbed the man of a 72 grand watch. They're going to hang around and like, chill out with him. Yeah, Amir, do you want to come for a drink, Bloods? I did like your fight, so yeah. You did real well in that Canelo fight till you got chinned, in it, Bloods? Yeah, of course you're going to run. I mean, oh, just pathetic, man. Yeah, pathetic. So, his account is pretty much, I got robbed in it. On his Twitter, we're both safe. That's the main thing, Blood. Well, if you didn't wear your stupid ass watch, you wouldn't get robbed. Yeah, and you don't go to dumbass areas flashing your watch. You silly fool. What the Farial confirmed the watch was stolen. Show the serial number to help find out who's done this. I don't know what they do. I mean, yeah. These things are unique, right? They got a unique stamp and number, so I don't know how easy it is to pass it on, but I very much doubt anyone will be found with it. They'll pass it on for all. They can make a bit of money out of it. I don't know who would buy it. Maybe someone who wants to pay 10 grand for a wicked watch. Maybe he'll start bragging. Yeah, this is Amir Khan's watch. People do that stuff for fun. So there you go, Khan robbed, and you know what? As I said, I don't really care very much. No one got hurt. Yeah. Teach him a lesson, maybe. Yeah. Try and spend 72 grand on something good. I mean, actually, funnily enough, so I looked at his Twitter, yeah, and he said, so he's got this thing. This was the day before it happened. It's very upsetting to see what's happening in Palestine, who are being consistently abused and tormented. My prayers with the people of Palestine. Therefore, I'm pledging 50 grand towards the entourage, towards the cause, and encourage everyone to get behind this campaign. Okay, that's fine. But hashtag pray for Palestine. I mean, yeah, Palestine's a very bad situation. I agree with Khan on doing that. I mean, it's probably an official charity, so that means you'll be able to have a tax write-off. But a lot of these charities are scams anyway. They're just businesses to make money for the directors, and they often don't give a lot of money to the actual charity. They're scams as well. And Khan supporting that is he's a clear Illuminati like porn. He's kind of doing it to. I mean, there's an agenda there. You don't need to look deep. You don't need to look deep in it to know that Khan is. There will be some Illuminati agenda. They love to talk about Palestine, but do nothing about it. He won't talk about Yemen either. Yeah. When the massacres and starvations, because it's Saudi doing it, and they're part, Saudi and backed by the US, and they're the Illuminati hub. So. Oh yeah, at the end of the article. So I mean, you'd think, right? So Amir Khan had a gun held to his head, yeah, and his wife was a few steps behind, and allegedly they're witnesses. Well, that's probably a lie, as I said, but yeah. So he's had a clear view of these guys, yeah. And there is zero description in the article. They just say, "Oh, they're gonna, we need to find these robbers." Well, surely, when you've clearly witnessed a robbery and you can clearly see who the person is, and you got a big article in the papers, it's very, very important, yeah. And by guns as well, There's a gun involved in the UK, guns are a big thing. Oh, it's big news if you got a gun. They're taking on guns because they don't want us to be able to fight to overthrow the government, But that's another story. But no description of these people. Obviously, they got a good look at them. No description of the robbers. Now, you know what that tells you. They don't want to print the description. Why not print the description? Well, usually, because the agendas, they don't want to scare people or print the truth, if you like. That a lot of, if there are any criminals that are from what they call Bami community. The Bami community means like, I don't know what it means. It's one of these stupid things that's made up by some right-on middle-class white person, who's just trying to cause division, and then wants to separate people and get people to fight amongst each other. Another like Illuminati porn, possibly unknowing, just a brainwashed, indoctrinated fool. But Bami's, I think, is black and minority ethnic. So it was an official UK phrase. I think maybe they've decided that you can't use that anymore. They're always changing their mind. It's another of their games. But yeah, I mean, it often means that when they don't give a description, because believe it, that was a white man. They're telling you. The suspect is white with ginger hair and whatever, but so I mean, there's probably a Bami involved. I don't know, at this stage, so they don't want to release no what's called no description. You know, it's funny when what's that little turd? Tony Blair's little turd son, right? Got robbed walking out of his £1 million flat that his dad had bought off blood money, yeah. And of course they didn't release a description then, and obviously it came out later that it was a bunny, but they like to shy away from that. Funny enough, that the whole word minority is kind of a bit weird anyway. As I said, my granddad was an oil driller, so I kind of sit in the middle a little bit, but most people would say I look Italian or Greek, but they would say I was dark white, maybe, I don't know, like Mediterranean, but yeah, my granddad was an oil driller, so that's where that comes from. But ethnically, the ethnic minority in the world, you could argue, is white people, because there's only 9% and dropping that are white anyway. The whole Illuminati thing to stir people up and make them hate each other is to make any non-whites think they are deliberately being persecuted at all times, so that they hate white people, and that they battle amongst each other all the time. So they, instead of us going for the real persecutors, the real wrong-uns, the real people that rule over us and abuse and manipulate us and teach our kids to be like batty peoples, yeah. And we don't go for them, no, we go for each other, And then they divide us by many ways, gender, as I said, race, religion, anything they can, sexuality, which is a weird concept anyway. There is only one sex, normal sex. Anything else is just weirdness and perversion, right? Yeah? There ain't no such thing as a batty sex. It ain't sex. Sexual reproduction is between opposite sexes. It's a biological thing. Yeah? Buggering, fisting, this kind of thing ain't no sex, man. It's just perversion. Anyway, enough of that. Peace in the Middle East now. I don't care what these guys do with Amir Khan's watch. Should they get nicked? Well, whatever, man. They took the risk. We'll see what happens. No one's hurt. Khan gets his money. He gets taught a lesson. Don't indulge in conspicuous consumption. And I don't even know why they had to point a gun at his head, with Amir Khan's chin. What Kel Brook call his papadum chin. He'll just flick the man's chin. Bosh! He's flatlined again, and they just take the watch off and walk off. We go, they don't have to do much violence. They don't have to get a gun out, because that's a few more years. Just boom, flick his chin with their finger, bash the man's on the floor. Yeah, and 5 minutes later, he's trying to get up on Bambi legs, but he's been flatlined. There's no Frank Muller watch. Anyway, peace.